Hey guys, Brony General here, in a much more video essay-like format for you guys to try out this whole editing thing and see if I can really do videos for real. But today I'm here to talk about something that I did a few years back while I was away from YouTube, which I think needs to be discussed in full detail. This is the story of how I got so fed up with modern phones that I made my own. So I'll start off by stating the obvious. I'm crazy. So crazy so that even now, with so many people telling me that I must get a smartphone, this is what I have. That is a Nokia 6300, which is kinda like a smartphone, but it's not. It runs KaiOS, and it's not exactly the most powerful thing in the world, nor does it have a touch screen. And that's what I record all of my videos for you guys on. That's also what I make all my phone calls on. It's also what I listen to YouTube while I'm at work on. I do everything from this phone, as far as things that you would normally expect a modern person to do with a phone, but it's still not a smartphone. Now you may already be asking your computer screen, expecting it to respond. How is this a video about you making your own phone if you just told us that you use a Nokia 6300? Nokia, or HMD Global, made that phone, not you. Well, there is another. And this phone, this Nokia 6300, is only a recent acquisition that I needed to get for work. Before I was using the Nokia 6300, and for the previous 3 years or more, this is what I was using. What is this? Well, let me go ahead and grab that Nokia 6300 and I'll be able to demonstrate a little to you. Right, on the Nokia to show you the phone that Brony built. So this is my bag phone. This is a modernized, custom-built bag phone. So what it is one of these. This is a Moxie box, or at least that's what I call it. And what it is a 4G phone box thing that you're really supposed to use for RVs and boats and moving things that should have a landline phone. Obviously, you can't connect a landline to something that moves, so this is the solution. It's this little box. It's supposed to have a back cover. I usually leave it off. But it's this little box that you plug a phone line into. You can have up to 2 phone lines. And then it has a SIM card slot. You put your 4G GSM SIM card in there. And it gives you phone service, as you may be able to hear right here. I'm not exactly certain where the mic is on this thing, but it has phone service, in fact. And the phone that I'm currently using is this AT&T Model 210. It's a pretty standard kind of princess wall phone thing. I bought it at our local Radio Shack, which, yes, we still have one of those. And this has not been the only handset that this phone has had. This is just the current handset that this phone has. This has been through 4 handsets, actually. All of them previously being AT&T sets, but the previous ones were a battery-operated unit with a caller ID screen on the top and a contacts list. But this one here, it just makes phone calls. I mean, it's got 3 speed dial numbers here, but that's about all you're going to get as far as technology goes on it. But, yeah, this is my custom-made bag phone. The bag itself is a Maxell branded, I think it's a camera or a tape bag or something. I found it at the thrift store 3 years ago when I went to build this, and it just so happened to fit the bill perfectly. So I have the phone cord here wrapped through one of the satchel latch things so that when I pull it out here, it always comes out so that I'm not getting caught on the bag. That was an initial problem that it had. But how does it perform? This actually performs about as well as any normal phone would now. So its antennas are both broken off because it's been through a rough life in the last 3 years, which means now it gets about as good a signal as most smartphones do. Fairly reliable, don't have many dead zones unless it's a dead zone where everybody has a dead zone. But when the antennas were actually attached and there, I couldn't find a place where this couldn't reach. I went out to a very rural spot out here in the local area with this phone. Nobody else could get phone signal, but I still had it. So as far as reception goes, this thing gets an 11 out of 10. I'm not sure you really can have a normal cell phone that can beat something that has dual aerial antennas, and not sure that any smartphone could really beat that. But as far as feature set goes, it calls, it has a voicemail, and if you get a voicemail, it'll light this little light up right here. You can see your signal right here, battery level here, power lights right there, and then there's this little information indicator that I have never seen actually do anything, so I don't know what that's really supposed to tell you. Battery operated, and it runs with this little barrel connector right here. And normally now, since I have the Nokia, which I'm currently recording on, I don't usually take this phone with me unless I'm going on a trip, because obviously this is a much better phone to have in the situation where you're in the middle of nowhere and mostly dead zones out there. This phone will still get you by where most phones wouldn't. But the cool part is when it's stationary, I can just plug it into wall power here and plug in this second phone line right here, and that gives it connection to all of this right here, which is my Panasonic cordless phone, which is such a basic phone. It doesn't even have a screen. Like, it has a spot where one should go, but it doesn't have one, so that's pretty funny. And then my little micro cassette based answering machine here, which also does actually work, and you can even do personal memos on it, which is kind of cool. Hello, remember to delete this personal memo later. But that's the bag phone. Now you might be asking yourself, why did I make a bag phone? Well, it all started off when I decided I wanted to see if I could make a car phone that works in the modern era. And this was back when I was driving my Hyundai. What I did was I got a basic landline telephone and one of these RV landline boxes like I just previously showed you. The only difference being this module box that I had at the time was not battery operated. It had to be plugged into power to work, and its antenna was on a cord which would route up to the roof of the car. So I had the handset between the two seats and the module in the trunk. I wish I could show you this visually, but unfortunately I didn't have a camera at the time that could actually record anything, so your imagination will have to do you justice here. So I put these things together in my Hyundai and proceeded to use it for the next 8 to 10 months and throughout multiple jobs. But the box would succumb to overheating issues after being in the trunk of a dark-colored car in Vegas summer weather for that period of time. After a while, it simply would not work properly. It would glitch out more than anything, not allowing me to make phone calls. And that would be where my current bag phone came to be. When that box failed, I wanted to go to a new box. I still did not want to get a new cell phone, and I wanted my car phone to continue to work. So I went down to my local Walmart, hoping that they might have another 4G landline box as a solution to the one I had just lost. That's when I found the Moxie box, which I will be leaving a link to in the description below for anybody that might want to undertake making one of these for yourself. It's actually quite a interesting little project, and it will get you a lot of looks if you're walking around talking on it like it's a normal thing. But the Moxie box is how I ended up going from a car phone to a bag phone. The first module, as I previously showed, did not have battery operation capabilities. It had to run off the 12 volts from my car's battery at all times, and if that 12 volts was lost, there was no longer a phone connection. But what I found out with the new Moxie box is that it does have a battery which can sustain phone connection even when not plugged into power. And once I found that out, the race was on to find a bag that it would fit in with a phone so that I could carry around the 2000 and at the time 22 bag phone. So I went to my local thrift store and picked up that Maxell bag that I have it sitting in now. So I found a bag, took the handset that I was already using in my car with the previous box and the Moxie box, and I put them together to form the brand new bag phone that I just showed you. And for the next 3 years, this would be my only phone. I have not had a cell phone since I made this, up until the point where I got my Nokia back in November. And this phone performed phenomenally, getting amazing signal. It doesn't drop calls, and oftentimes I will get signal where nobody else can. The added benefit to having this bag phone is that it is cumbersome, and you're not going to want to walk around with it everywhere all the time, which means I had the perfect excuse as to why I didn't answer the phone all the time. For anyone like me who does not like to be bothered when in the middle of something, this is an extreme benefit. So what I will leave you with in this video is bag phones. Are they something that you should even consider being a thing in the year 2025? I say yes. For somebody who doesn't want to be bothered, or somebody who wants a phone that can go on a trip with them and never drop signal, this is an extremely good option for a phone. Not only is it robust and durable with a very simple feature set that will very likely never fail on you, but the battery life is intensely phenomenal, and the call reception is unbeatable. So, if you're looking for something that can travel with you through the middle of the Sahara Desert and still get signal, or if you're just looking for a phone that'll give you the excuse to not be bothered by everybody and their mother all the time, this is a fantastic option for you, especially because this phone does one integral purpose. It calls. It does not text. There's no apps. There's no notifications. If someone is not calling you, then they're not interacting with your phone, and that means that it goes off a heck of a lot less than most phones that people are used to now. So with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. I'll leave links in the description to everything that I have here, at least that I can, for making one of these phones yourself, because I feel as though it's kind of a fun thing for anybody who's in the vintage technology hobby like many of you and I are. It's a fun thing to have. It's a very cool conversation piece, and walking around with it in public life, talking on the phone with it, will definitely start some interesting conversations with other people, as it has for me. So, I'll see you guys in the next video. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'm going to continue to enjoy making technology that shouldn't even exist in the year 2025. And a quick tack on for those who may be wondering, this phone only costs $15 per month to keep operational.